this might be their, swan song or whatever you want to call it. But there are other stuff. Yeah,
well,
maybe look
on that note, everyone, I'm going to send you on Twitch. I'm going to send you over to Henkin, our good buddy Henkin. He is playing Dune, so give him some Star Jump love. Good dude, met him at Equinox, totally awesome. If you're over on YouTube, make sure you head over to Trispone's channel. I just posted the link in chat. Go over there, watch his video. He's going to be doing cool stuff, so go check that out. Make sure you get in on the Perseus giveaway. For everyone, thanks for hanging out with me today. Kind of a quicker stream, but wanted to talk about the Perseus. It's obviously an exciting ship, and hopefully
Hello, hello. Can I get a quick audio confirmation that my mic is working and that my music is not too loud for you? Or too quiet? That's good. Nice. Thank you very much. In that case, welcome to the 5th part of building an Ironclad. Not sure how many are new and how many are returning, so I'll give the usual quick summary of what we've been up to and what to expect in the next hour. You may know me from some videos about galaxies, where I built the interior of the galaxy and other similar ships. And yeah, the Ironclad is my latest. And as with the galaxy, I took the official exterior model of the Ironclad that we got, and I did some 3D tricks to get a camera matching 100% to that. So I can then look at my image completely aligned with the 3D model. And I use that to now build the interior myself. And the goal is to build it completely, but not super detailed, to get another one of my videos where I walk around the ship and explain all the interior. That will obviously take a while because this ship is massive. But so far, what we have done in the previous episodes is, let's take out the exterior for a second. We aligned this part on the side, so we have the 2 entrances here, including doors, that we can walk along now. And on the inside, we have mapped out the position and size and everything of the mole. No, is it called the mule? The mule garage. As well as component accesses here, and there will be a stair somewhere here, and then the big cargo area here. Everything you see is pretty accurate, so we measure it from time to time, and it's always between accurate to about 5 to 10 centimeters. Sometimes I'm a bit off and it gets a little more than that. Maybe the hangar might be half a meter off, but it's still pretty close to the official scale, if it doesn't change. And so I can check the boxes, for example, and that all should be pretty accurate. And last week specifically, we added these catwalks on top. And from that, we continued building the interior of the upper floor inside. And that is where these 2 catwalks lead into the front section, where you have, again, component access. These are both shield gens. Then you can walk to the front to get to your, well, on the left side, it's the tractor beam. On the right side, it's the turret. And in the middle, in between those, we have the, well, I forgot the official name again. It's the specialized cargo section, where you have different rooms separated with metal bars and stuff, where you can put cargo that is supposed to be more secured and harder to reach. It could also be, it looks very much like it's designed for human or animal cargo. And then you have windows overlooking the hangar bay here. What we also figured out last week is that this area is really hard to get to because there are no lifts at all. What I thought to be lifts in the image here, it turned out to be shield generators. And so the only way up here is really this ladder, it doesn't seem there's a ladder on the other side. And so you could also come from the back of the ship here. But so the fastest way in would be up the ship ramp and then up this ladder. But that's pretty hard if you have heavy cargo, or you have to walk around the whole back of the ship. So hard to get to. And it's supposed to mean that this is for really special stuff that you don't want people to steal when they bought your ship. I mean, in case they steal everything, you want them to steal this last. So it's pretty good for defending it, but pretty bad for getting stuff there. That's what we figured out so far. Now, what's next on the map is there's two things I would like to do today. I think first I would like to add a little more detail to all of this. Specifically these catwalks I want to add in these railings because they add a ton of detail and also a good scale for reference. A good reference for scale. Yeah, and then we have to look back at my source material and try to figure how the back of the ship looks. You can also already see a part of it here. This is kind of what I'm working off, but we'll get to that later because the back of the ship is really confusing. It's kind of a maze. So we have to figure out how to build the rest. From here, everything was quite easy and straightforward, and also, as I said, pretty accurate because I had places like this to build off, but everything above is it's hardly connected to anything, so it's pretty tricky to build this all as accurate as I wanted to. So, let's start with the railings. As always, I will probably get distracted by chat at some point because I'm not a good multitasker. Right now I was reading the word brig, and sure, this was also described as or it could also be a brig, but it could also be just storage. They intentionally didn't really narrow it down because it could be used for both. Now, so all these railings, I could just use the parts that are on the exterior here. But I don't want to, because in the end I want to make this model available for my viewers, and I can't just hand out CIG models. So all the exterior stuff I would have to get rid of at some point. And so I could just remodel the same thing, or what I think I will do for now, or I thought I would, not sure if they're too similar or too different. I did just model all these railing stuff myself for the Paladin. So I was thinking about reusing those, but now that I see these, they look a bit different. So let's actually have a look at the Paladin model and see if we can reuse those elements. Obviously, in an ideal world, I would have a library for every manufacturer and use everyone's specific model parts. And maybe we'll get there someday, but right now I don't have all of them. So I made these and I made these. And as you can see, unlike the Drake ones, these are a bit flat by design. They look different. I don't think they changed the feel of the ship that much though. So, I mean, I can always change them out later for better fitting ones, but let's just go with these for a second. these into available pieces. As I said in the last one, if I just put all of these if I just add model after model and just stick them and just copy the model every time I need it, that will be very heavy on my RAM and your RAM later on. So I'm going to put these into small pieces that I can then instance again and again and again. That's something I didn't have to do for the small paladin, but here that makes a lot of sense. Hey Nova. Nice to have you back. I just finished what I promised you last episode, and it would be in tomorrow or in a video in the next 2 days that I'll finish. Yes. Oh, I need those. I need those. I know. I try to find a balance between overdoing it and not appreciating it at all. The video is a very small one, unfortunately. It's the one that I have not that I wanted to do after CitizenCon. But still working on some bigger ones, of course, but this is to get that out of the way finally. Do I need angled railings on this ship? No, doesn't seem like there are any on the stairs. No safety on Drake. See if we didn't know that already. Maybe I need them, but they are not displayed here. But okay, for now we're fine with those 2 pieces. So how do I do this as efficient as possible? Efficient as possible would be is if I don't add a single instance apart from these. Let's see if I can do it on the top of my head. So what I want to do is place one object and then link all of the other ones with all their rotations and stuff by just using geometry nodes. But I don't know if I can do it. So there's our cube. That is just a placeholder for my geometry node setup. My geometry node setup takes an object info. And my object is the rails end. So if I put that in, if I put it, okay, so my cube now becomes this. But I only have one of these in my memory, which is important later. So now I want to build the whole railing right behind it. So I will also need a second object, which is the basic rail. And so I could just use a join geometry. And then I had both. And because I positioned them correctly, or positioned their origins correctly, this already fits perfectly, but I only have one. Now I want to have this again and again and again and again. And for that, now it gets a little more complicated. Was it a mesh line? Yeah, it's a mesh line. And on that mesh line, I can then use an instance on points. It will create a point on every piece of my line. And then I put my object, my rail, as an instance on every of that points, and then put that in here. So far, so good. Just get the original out there. So now I have a lot of them, but my line is going to the wrong direction. Shouldn't go up, it should go on Y. And how far on Y, I don't know, because I don't know how big this object is. So let's find out. It's annoying. So that is 9.97. Actually, it might just be a meter. And no, it's not a meter, unfortunately. That would be too easy. Why did I mess up with that? Anyway, 9.973. Nine. 9.973. Oops. Oh, not the start location. I want the offset. Now we have... Let's get that cube. Why else? Now we have a perfect thing that I can align as often as I want. And now I want the end. Well, at the end of that. So I would use a transform geometry. Use the original, not the rails, but the rail end piece. Rotate it around Z by 180. Plug that into that too. Now I have the end piece. And then I have to offset that by this number. Unfortunately, I don't think... Oh, I could make my own input for that. That's actually a good idea anyways. So I make my own counter, which is the length pieces or something. And now I can go to that object here and control that from the outside, which is very handy. And then I could take that same input. Can I directly put that into the translation? No. Separate X, Y, Z. Only want that on Y. Oh. How do I? There we go. wrong axes, but it's okay. And it's also the wrong way around, so I'll use a math multiply -1. Oh. There we go. Okay. So now I have a modular, flexible railing builder. It's amazing. And there's a small error somewhere because... Oh yeah, because this number is not exactly 1, so I'll have to use a second math node, multiply that by my actual size, and then it should perfectly fit. Ah, that's satisfying. Or I could just use minus and delete this one. That's even more satisfying. So the cool part now is that I can use that throughout my ship. And the cooler part is that we will only take a tiny amount of video RAM from my graphics card. Now it would be even cooler if I could also add like different end pieces and add, well, stair parts, and maybe I'll do that later. For now I'm happy to have this. And so all I would do is use my cube here to place that, call that handrail catwalk. That into the... Oh, I have to put some... I have to make some... I have to bring some order into all of this at some point, but not now. So that is my catwalk that I built, not the original one. So now I can use that cube. Catwalk. Is that on there? Now, unfortunately, what does it use as... This is a weird point to snap. That's fine, I'll do it by hand. This is weird. Ah, okay. This wall here is from the assault version. From the assault variant. So I'm building the normal one right now, so... or should I build both? How is it different on the two? Actually, I should have it working for both variants. So I'll make 2 pieces instead of 1. In both cases it starts here. Actually, it's a bit further out than mine. Is that right? Is mine off? Oh yeah, mine has to be wider. Let's use that logic then. Actually, no, it is perfectly aligning with the door. That's weird. Okay, but still their railing is outside, is a bit further outside than the floor, so it's hanging over a touch. I have to build something on the bottom to make that look good, but should be closer. Okay, now I'll make it fit the salt version. Like that. And then I'm going to duplicate that object. Sit behind. And make it go to the very front. 33 pieces. There we go. And now we could mirror that on the other side of the ship, but I'm sure it won't be that easy. No, not. Because as always, the thing is not perfectly symmetrical. Oh, this is weird. If I put an array modifier after the geometry node setup, it will not use all of them. The same with the mirror? It is. It's annoying. Oh, I have an idea why. Go back into my geometry node setup. No, actually, sometimes I'll have to do that at the end anyway, realize those instances, but that might be... I'm not sure if I then still keep the instancing advantages that I have right now, so I'll just do it in here. The whole thing. those two catwalks are about 22.3 meters apart from each other. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, I should build something similar for the ladder. I have ladder pieces too. Yeah, let's do that real quick because I'm in it right now. Save. Get the paladin. Oh, I wasn't looking at the stream. Chat, sorry. Execute, are you still here? Sorry, I didn't read for a second. Execute from the Inforunner's right. I was just streaming with Grim before, and someone in chat suggested that the Drake Flappy Bird could in fact be an extractor like the Pioneer. What do you think? Actually, I made an image. I painted, I drew that too. I don't think that it's realistic. But let me show you what I came up with. I thought you've seen that. It was in that second silhouette video of mine. 1 second. So that's 2. Where are you? Images. Yeah, got it. Now I have to just I have an image viewer somewhere. Where is it? Oh, I have to do a new one. Give me a second. I have to set this image viewer up. There we go. So I said back then, I don't really think it's a ground extractor. But if it is, it could look like this. And I did this before the golem was announced. So by now I think it would really fit into that group of yellow industrial drake ships. But I also said I don't think it's super likely, just because on a ground extractor these wings would be so in the way. And also I think that ground extracting is not a gameplay loop like mining, because for me a ground extractor, like on the Pioneer, let's compare it to mining. You go somewhere, you mine for, let's say, half an hour, but you do that something all the time, and then you go and refine it. With these ground extractors, I don't think they will do anything in half an hour. I think they have to run for hours and hours and hours, and then you get passive income that you can then refine. And so I don't think that ground extracting is a really active gameplay loop. But I don't know that. No one knows that. It's just what I think this to be. I think this, especially because they have these ground extractor buildings too that they have shown at CitizenCon. If you just build them and then within half an hour they generate stuff for you, that would be too fast, because then after a day you would have unlimited resources. So I think you would build them, and then in the course of 24, 84 hours, then you get stuff. So maybe you can do it faster if you do it manually, but again, I just think that resource extracting is not a manual gameplay loop. I still like the design though. I think it looks very unergonomic, and with that very breaky industrially. I also think they will use it for other ships than the Pioneer, but just not as a primary function. They talked many years ago about having nodes underground that you can scan for. Yeah, sure, scan, and then you would have to build structures on them to extract, or place your Pioneer there and let that extract for 10 hours. But the point is you can do something else at the same time with the Pioneer. Actually, in fact, for this... For this one, I said that I expected to have ground extractors too. Kind of to test that functionality. And because I was thinking and hoping that it's just a small, tiny Pioneer. But what do I know? So with these ladders, we have the same problem we had with the stairs. They don't really look super Drakish, but I can always exchange them later, even if I build them now. In fact, I will just... Now with the setup that I have, I will build it so that I can, with a single click, change the manufacturer. Oh no, I think I made a mistake. Oh, I think I crashed my blender. I think the Frontier is built to service the Pioneer, resupply and transport vehicles it makes. Huh. Sure. Could also be. I thought of it as the test Pioneer. Okay, blender crashed, sorry. I thought of it like the test Pioneer, the smaller Pioneer, to test out the features. But you might be right. It would be a great support ship, just visually and also functionality-wise. Crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. It did crash. Why though? That's not really easy task. Oh no, actually, it is a really easy task. Here we go. Oh no, what did I do? Library file. No, why are you connecting that? I don't know what Blender's problem is with the ladder in particular. I think I had checked export selected objects only, and it was the only object in the scene, but there were a lot of hidden objects. Maybe he just had to go through all of them and uncheck them. I don't know. Usually it shouldn't take that long. So why is this geometry setup bugging me? If I just cleanly import this ladder. Oh, because it's still selected? Why is it? Weird. Clear, clear, clear. Was another half birth. So this ladder does not look super Drakish either. How do Drake ladders look like? I don't know. We can at least change the accent color of these rubber elements. If you give me a color in chat, I will use whatever color comes up most. Why are you broken? This doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Purple? Is purple the Drake color? Green. Can I make a poll. I make a poll. Oh, I can't. I have to I can make a poll, but I can't let you add stuff. So if you have more ideas, then I'll put up a poll in a second. So purple, green, or what else kind of accent color would you choose for Drake? What does represent Drake properly? Yellow would fit well because of the vulture and the assault version of the Ironclad. Also true. But I had these in yellow for the Paladin, because that's what they were displayed as on the concept images. Doesn't mean I can't reuse it, but I would personally like to see it in a different color for now. But I'll let you decide, just saying that it was yellow before. I'm confused, no one said red. Isn't red kind of a drakish color? Red is too aggressive though, but looks evil. Oh, and also the exterior of this one is very red. So, oh no, actually, I have always brought this dark brownish red in context with Drake cargo ships specifically, because the hat is red and the Ironclad is red, and that's why I made this image that I drew for the well, the winged Drake ship red as well. I guess that gives us enough options. Let's start the poll. Ask a question. What color do you want for that? Green. Purple. Yellow. Red. Right. Defense con is also red. But I have to say, whatever we choose, changing it takes me like 2 seconds. So we can definitely try all of them. And we can try more if you have more ideas. So, this piece 1. Two. Piece. Hello, Jet. Oh, I'm so sorry, by the way. Last time I said that I would, from now on, set these streams up earlier in advance, so you know when they are. And now I just started it. I think I said it this morning because I felt like... No, I remembered that I can't do it tomorrow. So I just pulled it one day. And the viewing numbers matched that. So, my fault. Sorry about that. Glad that you all caught the stream still. But I just can't do it this Wednesday. And I didn't want to wait another week. So, there we go. Small round today. So, there's our pieces. We call this one ladder Hop. Ladder. Bottom. And ladder. Center. Sorry about that, Nova. I do always order myself during streams because I don't have the time. But I always order burritos, which are kind of healthy. So why not both? Why not order something healthy, also satisfying? I leave the poll up a little longer until I have the ladder built together, just so we have a better representation. Oh, and actually, this piece won't work on this particular ship. So I'll make a second one. I keep this one. Oh, actually, let's set the position first. Let's make a different one that connects not to the wall, but to the floor. Also, why is this whole viewport, the whole viewport is angled? I messed that up somehow and I don't know how to restore it. Actually, no, it's not that. I don't know what it is. Let's just use a fresh viewport. No, it's still angled. What did I do? Any Blender professionals here that know why my camera is messed up? Just tilt your screen. That's a good one, thank you. I can do that. But I would prefer to fix it for you too. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. I just used another viewport that is not called layout. Why are all my layout viewports? What if I do a new layout viewport? That's fine. That means I messed up 2 layout viewports the same way. That's weird. Anyways. Clean that up. Oops. Are you? Oh, you're not beveled. Let's make this nice. Let's clean up those patches. Up. What's your problem? Why does it look so broken? Can't work like that. It's terrible. It's a really big project. I know. There's a lot to do. And I'll have it done in a second, I promise. At least this part. Why is that looking so broken? No sharpness. No, this mesh is just cursed. Is there any... No. Okay, I'll fix that later. Don't want to bore you with that. So that's our second top piece. So I'll call it top 2. Look, it looks good here. It looks terrible here. What happened in the meantime? Is it just a display? Oh. I know what it is. Or do I? Nope, no idea. Wait, no, this makes no sense. I just added UV coordinates, but it looks this broken. There's UVs. The proper geometry. Not broken in any kind. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to investigate later. Doesn't matter. Does it reflect the other assets? No, it shouldn't reflect anything right now except the world texture. That's what you see here, because for it to reflect other objects it would need proper ray tracing, and I can activate that in a viewport, but I don't have it on right now for performance reasons. So what you see here is just the environment texture, but even that is distorted here, and yeah, it's distorted. And BlueJet just pointed out normals, UVs, and sharpening. That's usually the issues for everything. UVs, I just said, they are fine. Sharpening is currently defined by these blue lines. So everything that is blue is supposed to be a completely sharp line. So all these edges. And where there are none, this is supposed to be softened. And that only leaves us with normals. Oh, that might be the problem. Yeah, I just flipped the whole thing. I just flipped this to this. But doing that means I flipped the normals. And actually, you just figured that out. So you should get... I don't know what you could... I need some stuff that I can gift in stream. Like medals or something. Because I promise you, in a few seconds it will all be fixed. Bop, bop, bop. Normals flip. Actually, I'll change the view first. Mesh, normals flip. Okay, promise too much. Sorry, didn't fix it. So my normals are fixed. To check it, you can go in the top in the viewer here and say face orientation. That will point all the correct normals blue and all the incorrect ones red. For example, this is not incorrect, but my mesh is open here, so you can look inside here. This is the part where I want to put two objects together, so it's normal that you can look inside, but on the inside it's obviously the other way around. But you can see something funny. This is the official CIG model, and you can see all these red objects that are incorrectly, that have the normals the wrong way around, because they don't need that for the holoviewer model. I have another idea though. We said that it looked stretched, and with the normals wrong, it could also mean that it completely stretches the UVs, because they are kind of built. But I don't know if they built on that. No, it still didn't fix it. So we just did new UVs, and the UVs look super clean. But this mesh still is broken. Hi Rhaegar, the node building. I did not build the node building for the tunnels that I talked about. I'm not going to do that today. But I did some similar node building stuff for the ladders and railings here. Actually for the railings, and I have to do it for the ladders again in a second. So you can see it in action in a few seconds. But if anyone has another idea why this is so completely broken. So we have UVs that are correct. We have face orientation that is correct. There's this shimmer on the edge there. That might mean no. Overlapping vertices is usually another problem where we have two of these vertices at the same position, but not properly connected, but that also doesn't seem to be the case here. Make sure the points are correct. I think that's what you mean. So if I select all points and say merge by distance and set this to, it already is at a super low value, then it would detect if there are any overlapping, but currently isn't. So if I shade it flat, Even if I shade it flat, this looks broken, which is just not normal. Oh, yeah, settings are applied, like the scales are applied. Maybe rebuild the face after the normal check. Good idea. No. Furion. I've never done such complex things with Blender. The only things I've ever created were some tables, desk lamps, and toys for adult women. Why did you build them for 3D printing or mods for GTA? I don't judge though. Maybe I can add a now I'll just make the ugliest thing that I've ever done. I'll just put a fresh new polygon in there. It's a fresh new polygon. Then I'm going to join the two. Then I'm giving it the right material. And then now we have the issue I talked about. We have now overlapping points. So if I select this point here, you can see that I can pull them apart. So now I say all points merge by distance, and it should say 4. And there we see it's 4 overlapping vertices. It has removed them, and so now it's completely merged together. And that face looks good. So not sure what your problem is, but now we have a healthy polygon there. But these are all broken, so I can't do that with all of them. I'll just do the 2 big ones, and then we'll move on. Actually, can I extrude that? Yeah, that works too. That's something. Merge by distance. No! It's broken again. Okay, never mind. We spent way too much time on that. No one will see it. I'll fix it later anyways. I'm sorry about that. That's why my videos take so long, because I always try to figure this stupid stuff out, but later it will be this big on frame and you won't be able to tell if there's an issue. It's still interesting for learning, obviously. But at this point we should do something better with our time. The mods for GTA. This is one hell of a solution. A friend who needed help with 3D pictures for his game. White table and lamps. The toys was just childish testing what I can do with Blender. Fair enough. Oh, actually printed one. No way. Interesting. Also good that you made a mold of it and not just used the 3D printed one. Because of all these little themes it has. Good call. That's definitely something I have not printed, but it's a funny idea, I guess. Or fun, rather. There must be one face in here that is just corrupt and broken, but I have that sometimes, but I would just like to know why that happens. This is also something that, yeah, as you said, this is something you don't learn from tutorials usually, because this is such a specific problem. I don't know how to find that out. It doesn't matter now. We have a top piece for our ladder, and we have a center piece, and we have a bottom piece. If you haven't already, please do the poll, because I'm going to close it in a few minutes. So I earlier built this handrail here for everyone who's new in a completely modular geometry nodes way. And now I'm going to do the same with the ladders. So we need where is it? Was there rails? So I have, no, that's my library, sorry. Reconstruction, handrail, catwalk. So actually I call this handrail, catwalk. Oh, no, it's for both variants. I just call it 1 and 2. Oh. Yeah, the normals thing, I don't know how I found that out, but there's always different ways to find your to use Blender and other software too. There's this one diagnostic view that I like for face orientation, but there is also another one. Here on this drop down you can show the normals here, and then you have them as actual vectors, lines that show where the normal is facing. You can do them from the vertex, from the edges, or from the faces, or all of them. I think this is the more common normal display that other software uses too. But I think that the red and blue is much easier to quickly find stuff. Okay, so ladders. For everyone who wasn't, especially Rhaegar, who wanted to see the modular part, was you, right? So, in case you don't know what I'm doing, maybe you do already and just want to see it. I'll explain it again. So geometry nodes are applied onto some kind of object. So my handrail catwalk here, for example, there's a cube underneath that's just for position, and then that cube gets replaced by all my rail geometry, and it just references the ones that I have on the bottom here, so that's super space efficient. So what I have to do now is I'm just going to duplicate that whole thing. Put it here. Oh, there's an issue. Let's see if that really is an issue. So I have a duplicate, and then I'm going to go into that geometry node setup and not use the old one, but make a new one. Or rather make a copy of the existing one. And I call this ladders. And I call this one rails. That didn't work. Handrails. Ladders. Oh, ladders. Handrails. Let's get rid of ladders 1. Ladders. There we go. So there's our ladders setup, and let's exclude all the rest. So what I have done here earlier is I have my cube, but instead of my cube, I'm going to get 2 nodes that give me the middle part of the handrail and the end part of the handrail. And then I'm going to use a line, just a made-up line with separations that are as big as whatever number I give it on the outside here. And on every single one of any division on that line, it will place one of these pieces. And then it will join it with the start. It will make a copy of the start and flip it to have the end piece that also takes the number that I give for the length. And then it mirrors the whole thing at the end for the second side. So I have a super small memory footprint here because it just referenced the base things there, but I can extend it as long as I want, and that should do nothing to my computer. And now we're going to change that from a railing into a ladder. Let me quickly catch up with chat. And I don't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to ask if you will also do a Perseus or not, since it's coming soon. Maybe you don't see the point of doing it. I was always interested in doing the Perseus, but yeah, I think it might be coming too soon. So it will be... I will have trouble making the Ironclad, completing the Ironclad before it comes out. If the Perseus isn't out by then, I might give it a shot, but I might also then take something that is further away, because I don't like to... with this one, I don't like to run against the time that to see who releases it earlier. I would rather build something that is further away, so there's more purpose for you in the work I do. And not like you can see my finished Ironclad and then a week later you can see the final thing. That just doesn't help anyone. I would like to, maybe I'll just do something that is further away. But I haven't decided really what I do after the Ironclad. Also, feel free to interrupt. That's what I'm doing here. I have a stupid question. Is your native language German? That's also not a stupid question. But unfortunately, it's kind of obvious, I'm afraid. Trying to get rid of it, but I can't get rid of the accent, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Alright, I need some lights here. Like real life lights, not the Blender lights. There we go. And now I can change this railing into... Actually, where's my catwalk? I'm missing a catwalk here. Catwalk. 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 Where are you? Oh. Oh, I made mistakes. There we go. Ladders. Hanger. And we put that from the library into the reconstruction. No more mistakes. Just grab the parts that I really need. You can also tell he's German by how much the details bother him. That is true. That is... I have worked a lot in different countries with a lot of people from different countries. And there are just stereotypes that are absolutely true. And that is one of them. Oh yeah, sure. Karolinger is a friend of mine. He's German too. He does his contest in German. I think not completely, but mostly. And he gets my videos to translate them into German because I didn't want to make a German channel or translate my videos myself. I just thought English is... I prefer to work in English. I don't know why. Maybe to get better in English and get rid of my accent. Didn't work so far, but yeah. Did the cat walk away? Yeah, that's funny. You get your love. The joy of the outliner. I like the outliner in Blender. It's not too bad. I just messed up. It's just actually, it's doing the right thing, but sometimes when you click on something and import something, it will import that into the selected collection. And that's actually intelligent, good behavior, but sometimes you just forget and I mess up. So, geometry nodes. So we changed the top piece to the ladder top 2. Oh, now the position is off. Why is the position off? Why is the position so off? We'll figure that out in a second. The middle part will be the stairs. No. Ladder center. Oh, that's also completely off. And then we also need the bottom, but we need that in a second. So first let's correct those positions. In our source mod object, I have reset the center during our modeling. So we put the cursors where they are supposed to be. At the bottom here. Does that make sense? No. Okay, it makes sense, but I have to put this one. So now they all have proper center points. Blue Jazz says the geometry node is so powerful, but it's really one of the tools I'm personally afraid to dig into. Same for me. It is incredibly powerful and I love working with it, but I have not fully understood it. So this is one of the projects where I try to use it more because I know how good it is. But there's a lot of things I still don't completely understand. Most of it is all these different data types. So purple is a vector, green is geometry, this different kind of green, I think, is just an integer. But sometimes you just want to combine stuff that you're not allowed to combine, and it's confusing. But I'm getting the hang of it slowly. But they are adding features faster than I can learn the old ones, so doesn't matter, it's still good. But at the same time, I kind of need to learn Houdini for something else, so I'm not sure how much work I want to put in. But for something like this is already super rewarding, and I didn't put too much time in. So now these are at the same position, which is kind of annoying. Actually, I have a better idea. These ones at the top too. It should automatically fit these better. Okay, but now I have to align that correctly. So the whole rotation I can just do in the base object. I changed that anyways for the railings too. So what I have to fix though is the mirroring. That is not... I'll just turn it off for now. Like the mirroring to the other side, I'll do that later. Actually, there's only one ladder here, so I don't have to mirror it at all. So why is it still wrong? Okay, because I don't need the end piece here. Now, this line that adds the stairs. I can visualize that line. And we can see that it's invisible, which is not good. Why is that? Is it because it's too short? Yes, because I have set it automatically set back to 1. So I give it a length of 3 pieces for now, and I want it to be... I don't want it to go on the y-axis, but on the z-axis. And I don't want it to go up but down, so it has to be negative. And I also want this line to be... I want every individual piece to be as big as one of my middle pieces here. So let's measure that out. Snap, snap, snap. Vertex 0. Can I copy that? No, I can't. 34996. Three, 4, 9, 9, 6. 3, 4, 9, 9, 6. And I'll plug back in my ladder. Now we have 5 stairs that correctly align. That's good. And now I can use this to add more. But we need a bottom piece. Let's make this line up first. Now we need a bottom piece. That is a tiny bit more interesting. First of all, we need another object. This one is getting the ladder bottom. And this is also going into our join geometry. but we need to transform this one. And we needed to transform down for every step that we do. Oh, how do I disconnect these? There must be a better way how to cut these. Oh. So now I have my bottom piece and I can manually position it, but that's of course not what we want to do. We want to position it and reuse this from later. So I set this multiply to 1. This takes the number that I select on how many steps I want to use, so currently 7, and gives that as a vector only on the y-axis into my object. But now I don't want to move, I don't want it to move on the y-axis, but the z-axis. So I use that value on z, and the other one can stay 0. And if I put that into this transform, then my ladder piece transforms by 7, so it's up in the sky right now. And that is because, as we said earlier, the height of one of these steps is not 1, but whatever this is. So I copy this value, put this in the multiply here. So now every step gets minus that. And then it is automatically placed at the end. And because I put the position at the wrong point here, it also, I don't have to make a special offset because this one is a touch longer. So it should always place this at the end. Let's check that it didn't put 2 on top of each other. Just take this out. Oh, it's annoying. Take it out for a second. Yeah, it's good. So now I have an end piece. And whenever I add another one here, it just adds the end piece at the correct position. Oh, now I have the problem that it either floats or sticks in the ground. So I could just scale up the whole thing a tiny bit, or I just accept it. I think it can be a bit floaty. I'm not sure if it's bolted into the ground from the original. I'll just leave it like that for now. Then I'm going to place this on the correct side, because there is only one ladder in the concept art and also in the concept image. So it really looks like there's only one ladder on these catwalks, only on this side, not on the other. Which is kind of weird to me. Do we have more ladders in the part that I have done so far? Oh yeah, this one. And there's one, but we don't have the top floor yet. So, oh, that helps me so much. I didn't see that. Actually, we'll build this right now, because I didn't know how to get to the next floor because these were not connected. But here I have a straight line that I can follow again. That's really helpful. So let's add 2 more ladders. So from my perfectly aligned camera, I can use this edge, and if I just move it on this axis, it should perfectly match. So I put it here. Then I can extrude it just up, and it should perfectly match this line. As you can see, there's this little disconnect here, but that's okay, apparently. And then also this room is a little less wide here. Not sure why. I'll figure that out later. So now we are on the next level here. And that is perfect right now because we can place a ladder there. So now I can just use Actually, I don't even have to copy this. I can just go here. I can place a new object here. Oh, actually, it would be much cooler if I don't use cubes all the time, but if I add a... Okay, let's go back to the one that I already did. Let's deactivate the nodes for a second. Let's just add a new plane. Let's just add a new plane here. Instruction add mesh plane. Make that smaller. Let's make that snap to this floor. To this floor. And then add the geometry node setup here. Ladders. And now it will place a ladder on that plane, but place it at the wrong way. I would like to do it so that I can just place it correctly somewhere. I'll figure that out later. So many things I have to figure out later. Sorry about that. Anyway, what I'm saying is I go here, I'll just components, reconstruction, add a new plane, place it here. Add my geometry nodes, add the ladder setup. Now it's at least on the correct height, so I might still have to, move it a bit here. But at least it is at the right height. And I can now, with one single button here, check that to not stick in the ground. And I'll make another one here. Add 2. Add mesh plane. Snap it here. Geometry nodes, ladders. Make it so it's correctly set on this axis. And the other axis I can do from this view. So it's supposed to sit here. And it's supposed to be a touch shorter, like this. So we have that too. Cool. And as you can see, how fast I can now just place these ladders here. That's basically what I want to do for the corridors too. Because if I have set this up once, I can save so much time by adding different length of corridor. And I can, what I just did with the 3 different pieces for the ladder here, I can obviously add a lot of different elements into floors to, yeah, change it every time and not have to model it by hand every time. So I still haven't finished my thinking process for the tunnels because it's a lot more complicated. But yeah, as we see, I'm getting somewhere with these at least. And now we've waited long enough. Now we're going to color these things to whatever color you decided. So Shading. I do have multiple. Only want one. I only want one material. Because if you duplicate it, it will make new materials for everything, and that's the opposite of what I want to do here. So now I have to delete those other ones. That's 3 and 4. So now I've only... Where's 4? Where's the second 4? I'll find that one later. At least these all have the same now. So in our material, let's look at our poll from earlier. 45% red, 33 yellow, 14% purple, and 7% green. I'm going to try all of them, but we'll stick with red because that's what you decided. So, from top to bottom, green stairs. Maybe more like military. Greenish. Darker. That looks very anvil. Purple. That's kind of cool, but it looks very Gian, I guess. Yellow. I don't know, looks industrial. Maybe Argo. That will be orange. Anyway, anvil ships have green letters for some reason, not green. But we decided to end up with red. And I'm going to try to hit that brownish red that the brake ships have. So it's a very dark, desaturated red. Brownish red. So that's our accent color, and that should be applied to the handrails too. And to that ladder here too. I like it. Oh, there in the background somewhere, we have one floaty piece. I don't know what for. I don't need it. But that's where that fourth piece of material was. Nice. Okay, that was, as always, baby steps in progress. But we have this nicely aligning floor here that will really help me later on. And we have modular and procedural node setups for ladders and handrails. That was actually quite fun to build. I love working with those geometry nodes. So, I think that's a good point to wrap it up. And I'll try to continue next week or the week after as usual. I'll try to this time set up the stream a bit earlier, so you have time to catch it. I just want to do one last walk around, because we haven't done that in a while. And because it's a good time, good thing to end this. So with walk around, I mean just... where's my camera? Go. So this is a bit ugly because we only see the piece that I built, but for now that should be fine. So we have our way up here from the side of the ship. And we have the section with the two, I think it's hyperspace generators, but we don't know. Behind this door we now know that we can go up to the next floor. Then we have our garage here. Stairs somewhere here. This is to the turret on the bottom. On the other side we have the whole thing mirrored. And in the middle we have our hangar section. Then we have our catwalks that now have proper details. We have a ladder here finally that we can go up. And then behind this door we can check out the front, which is shield generators. The cockpit for the tractor beam. Oh, I should have disabled that. And then we have our brig / cargo section. Oh, this is not really helpful. I usually do this to see the scale, but with just boxes. I need to put in some steel beams here too. Or cages rather, to show what that really is. And then on the other side we can go back onto our catwalk. Lovely. Slow progress, but progress nevertheless. And the stairs and ladders, rails and ladders really make me think that I can build something for all these connecting pieces that makes me build this faster. And not only that, then if I have these set up, I can also build the other ships faster. So especially the drag ones, and especially the Kraken. Oh, but that's too much future expectations already. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and see you in 1 or 2 weeks' time.